Yes. My name is AJ Mazer. I'm former League of Legends caster for the Gen Pro League. But let's face it, you're not here to see me, you're here to see these guys, the voice actors. And some of the faces may be familiar, some not, but the voices will be. So how about we go down the line and do some champions and some introductions.
Hi, my name is Owen Thomas. I'm the voice of Twisted Fate and Victor. Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I could kill you.
Hi, my name is Christina B, and I voice Riven. What is broken can be reforged.
I'm Eric Bry, do Jerks and Draven.
Hey now guys, I'm Adam Harrington. I do the voice of Mordekaiser, Rise, Karthus, Kassadin, and Chico. Let's go, let's go! Silence. Do you feel a chill? Look behind you. Wait.
With the shirt to match.
Hi, I'm Chia Court, and I play Vi. Punch first. Ask questions while punching.
Hi, I'm Rashida Glendenning, and I play Karma. Always trust your spirit.
Hi, I'm Gavin Hammond, and I am Varys. And I've always wanted to be a baker.
We're trying.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hutchison, and I play Ash. Take a good look. It's the last you're going to get.
I'm Chuck Karuklis, and evidently the character I do has been a subject of some consternation and confusion in actually finding the actor who did it. Can anybody take a guess? I'll give you this little hint.
Hand of Noxus. 24-hour protection for your sweatiest and bloodiest battles.
Yeah, there it is.
Hi, I'm Brian Summer, and I provided the voices for Tryndamere, Warwick, Nunu's Yeti Willem, and I was also the original announcer for the game. So,
it's only fun if they run.
Fantastic. And the best part is that we have a pretty good spectrum here. We have some of the original champions way back pre-beta, before there was even a name to the game. You got some people halfway through, like the end of season 1, midway through season 2, and some new faces, the new kids on the block as well. So let's start at the beginning, where most things do start, before LoL was even a thing, before the game was even completed. So this is more for Adam, Owen, Brian, and Melissa. So like, what was a recording session like that early on? Did it seem anything special? Was it just another normal day? And how long was it until you realized you were in this game?
I know you didn't mention my name, but I was Jax in the beginning. So,
that's correct, yes.
Excuse me.
Well, it's been 5 minutes and I've already screwed up. I'm done.
It was as I'm sure the entire panel will tell you, you know, we do a lot of different video games, and it was another game. But we went in, we did it, and it was like, it only had so many lines per character, and we, like, doing Jax, I love Jax, and I was like, yeah, let's go pound something. And so it was just interesting. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It looks like a cool character. I did the session and then knew nothing of it. And about, God, like 4 years later or something, Adams got a hold of me and he's like, hey, you know that League of Legends thing is like a big deal. And I was like, I don't know, what's the deal? And now we're, what, 5 or 6 years into it, and yeah, it's freaking awesome what it is. Yeah.
Well, you know, I've said it before, I'm not sure, I doubt Riot even knew what they had on their hands when we went in for those original sessions. We did it at a place that all of us do a lot of work at, a place called Sonotone in Emeryville. And we do kind of, I don't know, whoever was here for The Walking Dead before, I kind of cracked the joke about doing a lot of Russian games and translating Russian. This is the same place, so, you know, everyone up here does a ton of video games, so it kind of gets to be a routine. 4 years later, fast forward, I build video game voiceover reels for actually a lot of people on the stage here. And I found this League of Legends thing, and I started looking a little deeper into it, and then boom, I was like, oh my God. And I started calling everybody, trying to find out who's in the game. Yeah, it turned into just this amazing ride that's still going. We meet people like Brad down there, Mr. Pluto. And of course you, AJ, and Christina, and everybody. And it's been an amazing ride. I don't even know where to begin, other than, I mean, just look at the TF cosplay down there.
After this, need to do something.
Yeah.
Oh, you already did. Oh, all right then.
Bottom line, I hope the ride never stops. Keep playing the game, and awesome. We're gonna hand it over to you.
I don't know. We're doing this chronologically.
My bad.
So now let's move a little bit further in. So around some of the newer characters like Eric. This would be when Draven comes in, Christina, Chuck, and Gavin as well. So games picking up steam. People are starting to play a little bit more. Like, did you start to realize this was a thing at the time? Did you know, you knew a little bit more about the game right before you did Draven, so I'm sure there was a little bit more oomph when you went in for that other recording session. How would you compare the sessions when you guys went in comparison to what the experience is, the earlier champion?
Much different experience overall. Jax, like I said, it was like, oh, okay, another game, we don't know what it is, we have no idea, I like the character. But by the time I got to do Draven, I mean, I knew how popular the game was, I knew what was going on, and when I finally got cast as Draven, I was so excited because the character is awesome, and I have a little bit of love for the old Macho Man, and so for me, there was a lot of that there, you know, the ooh, it rises to the top. And Draven is a lot like that, like woo! And that was a whole new experience, and there was like a couple animations that you were working with, and there was more people on the line. You know, anytime you have people in your cans talking to you, you're like, oh, okay, there's some interest, there's more people involved in the process. The first time I did it, there was maybe one guy on the phone, and I was there with the engineer. It was pretty simple. The second time it was like, okay, wow. And they told me flat out, they were like, we really like this character, we love what you're doing with it, and we want him to be kind of popular, hopefully. You know?
I think he's fairly popular. I don't know. It's a little bit maybe, I don't know. It depends on, it really depends upon who you ask. And then when I say who you ask, I mean everyone.
So my experience is a little bit different because by the time I was recording for League, I guess now they were recording some characters in LA, which is where I live. And, you know, I heard of the game, but the moment for me where I realized how big it was actually stepping on stage at IPL the first time when I saw how huge it was and seeing the numbers. So that was really the realization for me. And my recording session experience was, like you guys said, it's just very similar to doing other video games, and it was at a studio that I work a lot. I kind of consider it my home base studio. It's called Bang Zoom. I work a lot there, and we recorded the character, and I got a lot of positive feedback, and it was just kind of, it feels kind of like in and out. I can hardly remember anything about that session. I think it's one of those experiences where you are the character, so it's kind of like you do it, and then it's magic. And then, yeah, so that was my experience.
Because I think like one thing I've heard a lot of you say too, as well, like before we do things like panels like this, is like, I can't remember my character's lines. What did my character say? Because I remember you told me that at IPL 4. It's like, I can't remember.
That's what YouTube is.
Yeah, that's what YouTube's fantastic for.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
My experience with Twisted Fate is that Adam, when he discovered how popular game was, he was like, I bet you're in it. It's like, I'm not in it, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Stephanos Rex went on my website, looked at my demo, heard a cowboyish voice I did, and then showed me the clip. He was like, "This is you." I was like, well, there it is. And same experience. We were all on stage together, and I did Twisted Fate's voice, and the audience went berserk. I was like, "Oh, this game has got some chops."
But things like you had to go in again for Victor, and then Twisted Fate got a remake.
Yes, and they did every line from scratch again when I got the new skin and adding new lines.
So what were the differences between those sessions?
Well, the first one, honestly, I'm pretty sure I just walked in there and was like, did a couple of his lines and then was gone. And then this next time I came in, there was like 12 people on the phone. They're like, "That's not it. That's not how it sounds." And they were like really making sure. And then they actually had a video of him and doing like Gangnam Style and stuff on there. And they were like, just make Gangnam Style noises.
And no, I'm not going to ask you to do the dance. We don't have a room anyway.
Thank you. But then also for the cinematic thing that we flew down to LA for, it was one of the funniest things. It took us forever to get to LA. They fly us in there, they pick us up, they drive us to the studio, we sit there and wait, we walk in, and I literally went, and they're like, "Bye."
And speaking, so you didn't realize you were TF for a while.
No idea.
But Gavin, I think you had a similar story because we did this panel last year. You were with us, and Adam, I remember you had the little video showing for everyone, and Pantheon wasn't on that intro video.
No, I had no idea.
When did you find out?
The only way I found out, somebody brought it up, probably Adam. Adam probably told me, "I think this is you," and then
It was Stefanos again.
And I listened to it, and I'm like, "God, I remember that line about wanting to be a baker." What the hell is that for? And then, I don't keep very good track of any of this stuff. I just sort of show up and say whatever they want to say and leave. And so I was like, "Oh, okay." I knew that I had done like the Bloodlord Vlad skin or something, and then I was Varys, but Pantheon was just something Stefanos figured out. So I had no idea.
And this was like sometime within the past year.
I think so.
And then he was a very early champ, so like 5 years ago?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Let's do some 5 years, it sounds about. Yeah.
That's the thing. I guess, we're lucky in this business. If we're working a lot, we don't really remember or process or keep very good track of it. So it's kind of like, oh, cool, yeah. I guess that was me.
So it's also, so let's talk about the newcomers this week. Let's talk a little bit about Vi, let's talk a little bit about Karma. Woo. So at this point, when you two go into record your lines, now LOL's a pretty big, reasonably large phenomenon. Was it on your radars at all going into it?
Yeah, I knew about the game a little bit. I didn't play it.
We'll get to playing in a bit.
But I definitely connected when I got the script. I thought, wow, what a powerful woman and what a powerful opportunity. And I connected with her spiritually, because how she feels spiritually, I feel. And practicing kind of a spirituality from within, that's your power. And so I love that about Karma.
And you also came in to do, you came in for the second voicing of Karma. So she did she went through the remake, was Danielle Gray. And did it feel kind of odd to come in to do a revoice after being around for so long?
Not really, because like I said, I auditioned for it and got it, so I assumed that was what they wanted.
End of story.
Right, and I know they didn't really ask me to reference her at all. They asked me to read what they had written and directed me as such, and so leaving there feeling content with what the director wanted, I feel like, well, that must have been it.
And then now we move over to Vi, which was one of the first few champions where Raya is like, let's start really expanding on some storylines for the characters. Let's do some really extensive stuff. Did that reflect itself in the recording process?
Very much so. When I went into the session, they actually explained a lot of her backstory to me, which was really great. It was nice to know where she came from. It was nice to know that she was a little rough and tumble and kind of from the wrong side of the tracks, but that she did have some kind of a moral ethic. It's of her own making. but she does have one. And so yeah, that really helped inform the character. I had a similar experience with Rashida when I first saw the script. A lot of times when the auditions come in, you know, you do them and you put them away, and if you get it, great, you know, and if you don't, it wasn't your role. This one came in and I saw the art and I read the lines, and my husband is also my engineer sometimes when I audition, and I told him at the end of it, I was like, okay, if I don't get this fucking role, there's something wrong with the role. Because she is me. She had a line in the audition. It didn't make it into the game, but it was so great. It was like, Caitlin, if your gun's in your hand, what the fuck is up your ass? And I was like, yep, that's my role. So then we went into the recording session, and they gave us some backstory on who she is. And we just started recording the lines, and it was so great. It's to date one of the funnest, most awesome recording experiences I've ever had. And when you know you're doing a great job, when you feel good doing the lines, but then the 12 people that are on the phone are laughing their asses off.
Well, that could be good or really bad.
In this case, it was good. But yeah, I had no idea of the power of the game before I went into the session. And it was really funny because I actually ran into you a couple weeks after at a different recording studio doing another one of those Russian games. And he was like, hey, you're in League, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you have no idea what you're in for.
To the dark side.
And now I'm realizing how huge it is, and my husband plays the game a lot too and follows the tournaments and stuff, and I'm just like, holy crap, this is really big. I saw an article where Riot was like, it's the most played game in the world, and I'm like, okay, yeah, right. Now I'm like, no, holy shit, this is the most played game in the world.
Quite literally, and it's one of the cases where literally actually means literally. So, what's that?
You know where they're actors?
It's a really big effort number. Let's keep going to like the storylines and recordings, because we also have both Darius and Draven in attendance, both of the Blood Brothers. So were those any interesting? Well, first off, did they have you two do your sessions considering your characters are related? Were they relatively close to each other? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so. As a matter of fact, when I was doing Draven, there was a line in there, and they were like, well, this guy Darius is your brother. And I was like, okay. And one of the lines was like, oh, I'm Darius. Because they told me that of the two brothers, there was Darius, who's raw, and then there was Draven, who's like, you know, the ass. So, the big heel. So, yeah, I mean, there was lines in there that sort of said something about it, and there was a little bit of talk about how they were brothers.
Yeah. Chuck, did they have you do anything like Draven specific lines? Because your character came first.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. My first awareness of Draven kind of coincided with my first awareness of what a phenomenon this game had been, because I also did my audition right about when the crust of the earth was cooling. And you know, I sort of forgot about it, and then all of a sudden, what, 5-6 years later, you know, Eric and I are meeting in LA to do the same effort sounds thing. You know, effort sounds. You're swinging a miss. You're taking a hit. Ooh. Okay. That's what we had a session in LA and we met on that. And it was only then that I became aware of Draven, that I became aware of the fact that this game was big. I went into that session not remembering what I did for the guy. And so it was Eric who pointed out. It was Eric who pointed out. First off, there are video collections. No, there. Go to YouTube. You can find a video compilation of your own sound bites. But on the way to finding my sound bites, my personal sound bites, I found a player who did impressions. Looked a little bit like you, actually, if you don't mind me pointing that out. He did impressions of the characters. And I swear the guy did it better than I did. You know, so that's the eye opener. That's a wake up call. You know, when there's such profusion and reach in the game that you got people performing the role better than you do. You know, that's something.
Actually, let's also move over to I want to move over to Brian for a second too, because you mentioned earlier that you were originally the announcer
Yeah.
So how did that come about? And also just because you did also a lot of the very early champions as well.
I did. The announcer, I believe, was a role just like any of the others. We auditioned for certain roles. Selections were made. We came in. We recorded. As Adam said, at Silvertone. Back in the days when we were in the corner next to the drum set and the guitars. And now they're this fantastic studio. But the original, I guess it was the beta announcer. So it was Pentakill. Was the original. Oh my God, you killed somebody! I think
was that seriously in there?
I think I ad-libbed that one. I don't think I made it into the game.
If it's not, it should be now.
Absolutely. But you know, we approach the roles like any other. You know, if you had to kind of draw a simile, if you're building a house, the house is the video game. There are many different contractors that come in and help you build that house. And as voice actors, you know, we're coming in and we're doing the electrical, the wallpaper. We're doing the wallpaper. Absolutely. And once we're done with our job, we move on to the next house. We approach the jobs professionally. We want to make sure that we give the best performance we possibly can. But once we're done with it, we move on, and then other people make these games what they are. Certainly, you folks make these games what they are. And I've ultimately said that I work for you guys. Because if you don't like my performance, I'm probably not coming back. So thank you for letting me continue. Exactly. But the process is, it's a creative process, and that's what we do. So whenever we get a character, whenever we get an audition, you know, we'll look at it. And Trindamir, for example, I was told that Trindamir basically gets all his power from being pissed off all the time. Which is one of those great things that as an actor you can really hang your hat on. So I'm thinking to myself when we're auditioning this, who's the most pissed off guy on the planet, right? Oh, New York cab driver, right? Hey, shut up, get in the back of the car. Get on, let's go downtown, right? So if you do that voice, and then you lower it a little bit, and you take the accent off, you've got the Barbarian King. So all of these wonderful things that we listen to every day as actors, that we observe every day, we take and we use little bits and pieces of that to bring these characters to vocal life, because that's what.
And if I remember, and now finally coming back to this again, circle for this, sorry. Last in line, I think there's a similar process to finding the voice of Ash as well, a little bit more. I'm not quite sure the words you use last time we talked about this either. Like, how was the process of finding Ash?
Well, it's basically my voice, but like generally when I talk, like what I'm talking right now, I sound like a dork. Like when I hear my voice on like answering machines, because you know we all have answering machines still, but you know what I mean. I'm like, oh my God, do I sound like that? That's horrible. So basically with that, she's sexier, she's more sultry. So I really didn't have to go that far. Yeah.
That's right, in game, Trindamir and Ash. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, this worked out perfectly then, didn't it?
You frosty bitch.
The honeymoon is over.
Yes. But no, I mean, for me, it's cool too, because I generally I do a lot of like kids' voices and stuff, which I love, which is awesome. Way more character-y work. So when I book a role and it's actually a strong female voice, then I'm just like, ooh, that's so comfortable and it feels good. And I kind of wish that I talked like that all the time, but then it would just be weird. Like, I'd like a tall latte, please. With whole milk. Don't fuck around.
Melissa is also Clementine in the Walking Dead series, by the way.
Guys, I want to get this next question out of the way because I know it's going to come up during Q&A, and I know there's a lot of hilarious stories that come with this. Let's talk about actually playing the game. There's stories, aren't there? Someone's got to have stories about actually trying to play this game.
They're all sitting on this side.
They're all sitting on this side of the table.
I'll just bow out now. I will bow forward. I am extremely lucky that I get paid to voice characters in video games. If I was paid to play video games, I would be sleeping in a cardboard box behind the scene. We mentioned Walking Dead real quick. We had kind of a wrap party for that where the producers brought us in and they actually let us play the game. And they gave me that controller, and honestly, legitimately, 100% true, that's the first time I had a video game controller in my hand since Atari came out. I had no idea what to do with these things. I kind of hit it on my head and I don't know. So when I watch you guys play, it's just magical for me that you can multitask like the best of them. It's just amazing. I do not have those skills. So I'm out of this question.
I try to play. I think Christina probably plays the most of us, and Owen has given it a shot. I think
the game is...
I've played. I'm not avid, but I'm still learning the gameplay system because it's really easy for me to just I'm totally like Vi, you know, so I will just wade in punching and then die.
I like to call it the AD Larry. You just scream, Larry! You just run at somebody. And you die very fast.
Luckily everyone's been pretty supportive so far. I haven't had anybody who's like, you suck!
You tell them where you are.
Well, you know, so my username is Vox Goddess, if anybody wants to. I don't hide it, you know, but I also don't run on. Jacob was playing a game. My husband was playing a game last night, and he was playing his Vi. He's like, should I tell him the voice actor's sitting right next to me?
The funniest thing too is I'll play with a lot of rioters or a lot of other people who are involved in the game, and that's usually the first reaction is you tell someone you're in the game, it's oh, you're the voice actor. Oh, that's cool. I didn't think you were gonna suck this bad. It happens every time.
When I definitely in the beginning when I was playing as Lux a lot, people would spectate on my games and say, Christina B, why are you not playing Riven? And just be very disappointed by that. So yeah, so I learned Riven, and I'm pretty bad at her. Like I explained at my panel earlier, I really like hitting from a distance and then kind of backing off, hiding by my turret. I don't like to die. I know that's probably a bad quality in this game, but I really liked to have that 0 right there by the skull. So, but I really think that playing the game is actually what kind of changed the tide in my favor because, like I said, I auditioned for many characters before I booked Riven, and I booked Riven after I started playing. So definitely getting a feel for the actual atmosphere that the game is, I think it really helped me book the part.
And I know last year we had this story too. So if any of you were at the panel last year, this may sound familiar, but Christina, I remember IPL 4.
Yes.
We had you in a show match against the pros. You were you were not going to play Riven, and we kind of freaked out about that. It's why you?
Yeah, you have to play Riven. But I want to play Lux. You have to play Riven. I'm gonna suck. So actually, no, but that was pretty much my first or second time playing, and as expected, I did pretty bad. But it was still really fun. And oh, I forgot her name. She was so sweet. Uni. Is that her name? Or no?
I think so.
Yeah. Somebody helped me out. She was like, "Okay, buy this. What are you doing?" She's sweating. Okay.
Yeah, I think we actually we got some people from the audience just to hover and help. Yeah, it was fun. That's fun. And at the end of the day,
people had fun. People liked it.
So we also had we had a little bit here and there about how you actually came up with the voice for your characters. Macho Man and Savage, for instance. Were there any other inspirations for any of you for your characters?
A lot of the times, I can't remember all 5 of the champs I ended up voicing, but Shaco, for instance, Riot will give us reference points to jump off from. They make it clear that they don't want a dead-on impression of a certain actor or a character, but certainly when we were doing Shaco, Mark Hamill's Joker specifically, even though they use Heath Ledger's line, "Why so serious?" They didn't, as far as I remember, they didn't reference Heath Ledger. They referenced Mark's Joker, who, by the way, retired, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he retired, unretired, and he's back again, and he changed his mind, and it's back.
If anybody from WB or I'm available, let's
Getting to Jax, I started a little more like Patrick Warburton.
Who, by the way,
I absolutely think that guy's amazing.
And also, by the way, voices Zach and Volbear.
That's right. And so when I was putting together Jax, I started with "Who wants a piece of the champ?" and then I just sort of like gave him a little more meat and got rid of the sort of the hokiness of that, and it was, you know, "Who wants a piece of the champ?" But that's kind of where I started with that one.
You know what? For Revan, there was like, yeah, she has a lot of deep pain. I was like, I have deep pain. And so, yeah, so my take of it, deep pain, yes. But seriously, that's I was like, yeah, she's gonna be kind of, because my take of her, she was a little bit quivery because she was in so much pain all the time. But they're like, no quivery. I'm like, okay. But anyways, it's kind of like similar but related. I didn't really reference any person or character for Riven, but when it came to auditioning for Homer of Hamada Magica, I referenced my Riven and I booked that role.
So
when I got the artwork for Twisted Fate, I was like, now how southern do they want this?
Answer very.
It's in the look of the draw.
But then I actually referenced from The Big Lebowski.
Oh.
What's his name? Darkness washed over the new. Yeah, that's what I went for, and the character came out right there. Well, I shouldn't say the character came out. I booked the character. They chose me. I didn't, flesh it out. By the time I walked in, they were like, "Do what you do in the audition. Go."
Well, so I think I'm gonna have more. Oh, we got more. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna talk about. So when I auditioned, I believe 3 times, and so the first audition I did, they liked, and then they just wanted it again. That sometimes happens. Like you want it, and they just want to hear you again and see if you do a different interpretation. So then the second time, the feedback was, "We like what you're doing, but speed it up," because I interpreted her as spiritual, which to me meant slow and almost like a martial artist, and always trust, and so, but they always trust, because she's about to kick your ass. Keep it moving.
Trust that I am going to destroy you. So, I'm going to ask one more question, but if anyone has any questions, I'd ask you to line up in the middle, and I will come to with the microphone in just a minute. Is that? Oh, back. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. What?
No, you moved on. So, okay.
That's all right. Sorry.
Coming up with Darius is probably disappointing and prosaic, which is why I'm going to tell you. I'm a hardcore South Park fan. And I just love the same character on that show. Oh, what did he do? Okay, and I thought, well, now what if we take this basic thing and just kind of make him a war machine? And that's actually, yes, Darius is centered in Satan in some way. How I mentioned that.
Literally Satan. Alright, so if anyone has any questions, line up in the middle aisle, and I will come to the microphone for you. So if anyone just stand up and line up, and I'll go, and since you're in front, I might as well. Okay, alright.
Question for you guys. Have you, in the midst of playing a game, have you ever ad-libbed a few lines over the internet and have people listening and kind of like ad-libbing it and kind of throwing your opponent off guard by ad-libbing on lines?
Yeah. The legal department called and said nothing but lines from the game. Not too much.
Yeah, we're not joking, actually.
They're actually quite serious about this.
Yeah, Ryan said that they don't want us doing anything except the line from the game. My guess is, they don't want to see YouTube with me drunk and saying something.
Yeah. They also don't want to be able to say things about Dota.
So this question is for Owen. Speaking of YouTube, I was wondering if you go
heard or seen it was one of the entries for the Songs of the Summon contest, Alucards?
No.
It's great, and my boyfriend actually wrote it and composed it and all that, so if you want to check it out.
Oh,
I think
I will
it
definitely check that out.
references a lot of your lines.
I'll make sure. We'll talk.
And then, like, if anyone like has anything like, you should check this out, just give it to Adam. And he will make sure that not only that all of these guys see it, but that I will have it in my inbox 3 times by the end of the day. Thank you.
Adam's a daddy.
Hey there. So you know how Riot comes out with legendary skins like the Bloodwood Lad, Demon Blade Tryndamere. If one of your champions got a legendary skin, do you have any idea or any hopes of what that legendary skin would be like?
Anybody in particular? Yes.
Two of mine, Demon Blade Tryndamere, and then I think Warwick was Hyena Warwick, which was an absolute nightmare session because they wanted me to get. They referenced the hyenas from Lion King. No, Cheech Marin doing that really high-pitched laugh. So, you know, Warwick's down here. And they wanted him, when he got into his laugh, they wanted it to go really high and silly. So it was a bit of an exercise to do that.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. I haven't even come close to warming up to try that right now. I would burst a blood vessel or something.
Just real quick, I mean, going right back to what I was saying, I wouldn't mind seeing a Joker skin for Shaco.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Fire up the lawyers.
I didn't say it in his voice.
Names escape me, but my friend wants you to do Vi's line where it's like, oh, stop hitting me, like, why is it always straight answer?
It's like, God, why is everybody complaining? It's always just like, ow, stop hitting me, ow. That's the fun thing about Vi is that she really just doesn't give a shit. She's just gonna walk you, she's gonna punch you in the face and then laugh at you when you cry.
There you go. Have any of you ever messed up with your character voice?
Universal head shakes. Any notable screw-ups?
If you are ever caught misquoting your character at an event, you will be strung up from the nearest tree. I said, it's only fun when they run, instead of it's only fun if they run as Warwick. I had to get a security team around. Very scary.
He's exactly not joking. It was like, you didn't get it right, you're fraud, you're phony! Big fat phony!
I was at a convention last weekend, and somebody, not last weekend, maybe 2 or 3 ago, and it was in Arizona, and somebody asked me to do a ribbon quote, and I did it, and he was like, oh, that was close. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I got the plane like 2 hours ago. Yeah, it was really squeaky, I don't even know what happened.
Just block it out from memory.
Hey, how about the Caitlyn cosplay?
Just have to say that, yeah, they should have kept the line for the one you said in the game. It was awesome, amazing. It was really amazing.
Well, she asked you a question.
Huh? Oh, yeah. This is a request for the voice for Tryndamere and Ash. So, with both your voices, can you act out while you're dating life?
Well, the previous interaction is any...
Well, Melissa and I do that often. Unfortunately, I think we probably would get busted doing it. And rightfully so. You have to remember that the video game industry is like, you know, what, $14 trillion every year or something like that. And their intellectual property, they need to be very protective of it. So these characters are not ours. We provide the voices for the characters. We bring the characters to vocal life. but to say we are the characters is a little bit, braggadocious, if I can use that word. Because there's so many people that put their talents to these characters, the artists, the writers, the directors, the producers, everyone. We are just a part of it, we're just the electricians. And Riot is very protective of their characters, so while we would love to,
yes, we would.
Melissa would absolutely love to, we're just not allowed to ad-lib or do anything like that. We would love to.
We used to. We used to, definitely.
We used to do it, yeah, and then the steel wall came.
In my cipher, I had them, if you want to hear them interacting, go listen to my...
That's true.
And that was recorded on my internal mic on my computer. It was back in those days. It's horrible.
Let's hear it for the eternal microphone.
Yeah, this is kind of for Eric and everyone else. I know you were called out for the cipher. You were called out for a cipher. What kind of an experience was that?
That's like, wow. First of all, like I'm not really a rapper, so
no.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't
Is that weird?
I assume I get street cred.
But you do music though, correct?
I do actually have a band, yeah. But yeah, I'm actually
happening to wear the shirt.
It was awesome because Adam had done it, and I kept saying like I can't rap. I have no idea what I'm going to do here. So the idea was, why don't I find the people that really do this better than I do? People like that administrator and Lily Pichu and a few folks came in and the Orals. I asked them to contribute, and they all graciously agreed, and I thought it was amazing. So it was awesome actually, just to get to do that.
We asked them to.
Yes, we actually. Sorry, Adam, my heterosexual life partner. So awkward. But yeah, that was a really cool experience, and I think it came out okay. I've heard some of the other ones, and I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, it was fun.
When's the next one?
You gotta ask Cody Collective about that.
Yeah, really.
And as like a sort of part two, would if any of you were to do a cipher, how would it go?
I'm going to write a rap right now.
Right now?
Uh-oh. I don't know what a cipher is.
Neither do we when they call us out. It's a rap contest.
It's the music
not so much, but it's not so much a contest as it is a coming together. It's like a circle, cipher, and then you come together. And was it in your character? Is that what you guys did? I'm an MC as well. When I say
Yeah, I did.
Well, he cheated.
Dan Bull did the rap video.
Yeah, the Shaco cheater got Dan Bull.
And Brian Melissa.
Well, but that was part of the skit. He surrounded it with a skit, and it was great. And even I did some work on that too. So, but when I did it, it was just try to do something and have fun with it and not get busted. But right.
For the young lady who asked for for us to do, we were just discussing something because I hate to disappoint you. So this will be short, but we'll give you what we can. Imagine, everybody close your eyes. Imagine Trindamir and Ash in the boudoir.
Everyone.
And Trindamir is saddling over to the bed, and Ash is about to give him some directions as to how she might like it this evening.
Swiftly now.
In response says, "This is gonna be a slaughter."
Good night, everybody. Can you follow that up? Give me a shot.
No, okay, so other than the people who have done multiple character voices, for those of you that actually play or have seen the game or heard voices from your other voice actors, which of your favorite characters are your favorites?
Sorry, Jinx.
Jinx.
Jinx is so, okay. Jinx is, she's like the newest character, right?
Yeah.
One of the newest characters. And I stopped playing League like for a few months, and then Jinx came out, and when it was released, my friend Sarah Williams, she's Peacock in Skullgirls, and Sayaka Miki in Madoka, and she wanted to be in League so bad, but she just hadn't found her character yet, and this character it's her character. You hear her, the lines are so amazingly hilarious, and I saw that Jinx music video, and I just fell in love with her character design and her crazy face. I love her so much.
Yeah, I want one of those music videos for one of my channels.
I like the live action more, but I get like, what's the character that you do that was like the Yeti?
Yeah.
Well,
I think we have time for one more. So.
Hi, have any of you recorded voice acting for upcoming champions that like haven't been released yet?
I don't think they're at liberty to say.
That was an excellent try. We are not allowed to talk about you everywhere.
Wait, who just sat down after you? Come on, real quick.
Riot has snipers in the building, so.
Yeah. Ignore the lasers.
So, you guys have seen the music videos. What do you guys think about when they added stuff like that music with that? And I think there was a few videos too. There was one for Mac coming out where when they let Mac start playing, and they had like this video with Corporate Mundo, and he walks in. But it's like, what do you think about them adding more like of that theatrical appeal besides just the video game? Would you guys be interested if they kept doing that kind of thing to come back and lend your voices?
I think we're all waiting for an animated series.
no such thing as a bad deal.
Exactly. So before we wrap it up, I got one more question for you guys. So, granted, we got a lot of you on stage, but there are a lot of other champions, and it's still unknown for like a good portion of them, like who did the voices and who is this person, where are they?
But by the way, I just found out the voice of Twitch is many of our good friend Doug Boyd.
He does, what else does he do?
That's it? Oh, he is Augustus Sinclair in Bioshock.
Oh.
Yeah, if you watch In the Booth, Adam and I do a show, and he's a contributor. We actually did a 5.5 holiday thing, whatever, and Doug stepped in real quick to give us
Yeah, because I think I remember there was like some YouTube video where someone's like girlfriend's like friend or somebody was like, oh, you did Corky. Oh, that's neat. Like, you gave me $300.
Can I throw a plug in real quick?
Sure.
In case you don't know, because I don't think it's even on the schedule, but we are doing a how to break into voice acting from In the Booth guys at 4.
Here?
Let me just take that. I think it's in this room.
I think it is here too.
No, it's actually a couple rooms down.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a panel. If you ever thought about possibly breaking into voice acting, specifically, video games and anime, we're doing a panel at 4 o'clock, answering any questions you might have about it.
Cool. And yeah.
Room 2.
Room 2? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So we found Twitch, we found Corky. There's still a lot of other people missing. Don't know where they are. Not even sure if they know that they've done the voice.
Well, again, Gavin, we went 5 years.
Right.
Also, Owen, I mean, we had come to some conventions not knowing that Gavin was Pantheon.
Research always in the process of trying to identify the voices.
So is there any messages to those people who are still out there without...
Don't know what you're missing out on.
Step forward.
There you go.
Faith will
Hey,
find you.
can we have a hand for AJ, guys?
It has been an absolute pleasure. I believe, once again, we've smashed the record for the largest attendance of a panel at this convention. I know we smashed it last year, we've done it again. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. Thank you.